Hello, I am Kira Solomon, former principal dancer with Sankofa Dance Theater. My experience with Sankofa extends back to 1990 when I was a undergraduate student at Morgan State University studying political science and was a member of their dance ensemble under the direction of Dr. Ayantha Tucker. Uh, Sankofa stepped in when I was in the world of Miles Davis and more classical, more modern style music, and Sankofa came in with the drums. So while I was learning certain modern dance styles, I heard those drums and it was on and popping, and I ended up over to the other side and started dancing with Sankofa. Um, when I first embarked on that, it was a whole new way of life. Um, Dancing with Kauna and Kibibi, it was great. It was performances, it was lifestyle, it was coming to understand myself. It was establishing relationships which have transcended over 30 years now. And Sankofa came when I was getting married, came down to Jamaica. The whole company flew down and with their kids, and that was an experience. Um, you know, Opportunities to perform at the Meyerhof, Dance Africa, to travel to Africa, to Senegal. We've had a lot of experiences. When I say we, meaning me and my family, or my children understand the impact that Sankofa had on my life. And I just want to say thank you, Sankofa Dance Theater. Thank you to Kibibi Ajanku, House of Ajanku. Thank you, Kuuna Mujamal. And, to the community at large. Sankofa was a large part of my early adult years. Sankofa, reaching back to move forward. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aminata. At the time, it was Sandra. I danced with Sankofa in the early 1990s, and I don't really have a specific story other than what Sankofa meant to me. Sankofa was all about family. I was a single mother. Um, I was able to come to class, bring my child. I was inspired first by Sankofa at one of the African festivals, and I thought that's the group I want to dance with. And got the opportunity first, and then I was invited to dance in the company. And it was always about family. And at one point, I got the opportunity to teach dance to the teens. And I remember that fondly. And when I danced with the teens, I was able to do some modern dance and mix it up, with traditional African dance. But Sankofa was always about the people and the space that they created. And another important story for me was Kwanzaa at Mama Kibibi and Baba Kauna's house, and and her teaching about the value of food and the value of slow cooked food. I always remember that. So I always be grateful for my time, what it has meant to me, what it has meant to my son at the time, for me to be able to be with the other dancers, to be with the drummers. And it was all about family, and it still is to this day. So blessed to have been part of it. And I know so many people have been touched by Sankofa. Thank you so much.
Greetings, everyone. This is Amadou Kuyate, and I am definitely sending the warmest and most heartfelt congratulations to Sankofa Dance Theater for 30 years of service as a community institution. I personally have had a long-standing relationship with the Sankofa Dance Theater, even into my childhood. Um, Coming from Washington, D.C., Sankofa Dance Theater often partnered and worked in collaboration with community institutions. My parents uh, established on this memory of African culture. Um, and from that moment, as a youth, I recognized that there was family here with Sankofa. Many of my closest friends, are members of Sankofa, and I've even had that has sprung forth from my connection to the Sankofa Dance Theater. Again, uh, just the work and the diligence in which they've remained a community institution has been quite admirable. And I pray that you have success moving forward 30 years.
In 1991, I had the good fortune as director of the Contemporary to work with Sankofa and Kibibi, who were artists in residence at the Woodburn Center, a multi-service treatment facility for children and their families here in Baltimore, where they created artwork and performances that were part of a major exhibition called Soul Shadows: Urban Warrior Myths Dealing with Urban Violence in the City. And since then, of course, Kibibi and Sankofa have gone on to continue to provide amazing services to Baltimore and our surrounding communities. And I wish everyone a happy 30th anniversary.
Hello, I'm Crystal Brown. I started Dance Theater in 2003. Became a part of the company in 2005, and I have to say, um, it definitely played an integral part of my life. Um, I was a new mother, not really realizing how much community I actually needed. And just being around all of the women that had a love for African dance the way that I did was very uplifting. We ended up all being pregnant together um, in 2006 into 2007, and ended up having to change one of our shows to a tribute to motherhood, which was absolutely beautiful. And once again, I felt a sense of community being able to mother for a second time with women with like minds. And most of us outside of the African dance at Sankofa were career driven, career oriented, and we helped each other a lot. So I, look back at those times and smile because it was exactly what I needed at that point in time. Not to mention, Sankofa Dance Theater is responsible solely for me developing my lifelong relationship with West African dance. Um, I want to thank Mama Kibibi and all of the people that I was in company with during that time, um, just for inadvertently saving my life. Peace.
2 months after my wedding and my move to Baltimore, I was pleasantly surprised to be invited to a performance of the Sankofa Dance Theater, directed by the two dancers who formerly mentored me in a DC based group. I was thrilled and welcomed as a member without hesitation, and thus began a 25-year association with a dance family that transformed me and gave me much love and support, and to my daughter as well, through years of joy and tears. Kibibi and Kauna were a husband and wife team with different approaches, yet with a common vision and passion as we journeyed to our past to incorporate our African roots while becoming enveloped in a culture with many returns for our investments. I was fit and had strength and endurance to spare. I learned the stories, the dances, the songs while marveling at the diversity, the colors, the flavors, and the spiritual wealth, all among the gifts my ancestors were restoring to me through this gathering of dancers, drummers, singers, and carriers of culture. Those of us who were parents watched our children grow within this community, and reveled when they surpassed us in skills. I was not just a dancer, but a sometimes drummer and a singing shake-a-ray player with the with eBay EA, a group created under the umbrella of Sankofa. Husbands, boyfriends came and went, but the Sankofa family remained strong for more than 30 years, and its influence is evident internationally as well as in the Baltimore African dance group for those that came after us. Thank you, Sankofa Dance Theater, for giving me so much for 1/3 of my existence on this planet.
It's hard to tell a story of something so big. I'll start at the beginning. Right after seeing Sankofa Dance Theater knock the house down at the BMA in the early 90s, we responded to the invitation to enroll in children's classes. Those drums, lightning power. I brought my daughter to class when she was 9. She was not having a lot of fun in school. She didn't feel very safe or supported. In those dance classes, the safety and welcoming warmth and structure and discipline and love of the teachers carried the day. After their classes, the children came bounding out the door, smiling, laughing, meanwhile learning complicated dances to be performed publicly, teamwork, friendship, the power of community. And for us, parents and family members, our sighs of relief were loud and palpable. Honestly, a weight lifted. Our children were loved, appreciated, and safe. We adults were included in friendship and the power of community. Another story, and more stories. Proud and strong Black leadership, supporting Black families and artists. And within this journey, my experience as a white woman, the grace of being present in a Black space, sharing the joy and finding friendship and ways to support the magnificent work. My partner and I created the 1994 Drums of Sankofa calendar to celebrate, honor, and raise funds for Sankofa. The healing power and energy and inspiration of those drums and African traditions, we found funding to bring those drums and stories into the school day at the stadium school. Those drummers and dancers, the energy, the creativity, the inspiration, the proud Blackness. We found funding to begin a collaboration between Sankofa and our friend's farm in southern New Hampshire, delicately bridging Black urban lives and African traditions with a white rural farming community, creating a lasting partnership for now 3 generations. Sankofa, thriving in spite of so many obstacles and way too little structural support. Where was the donated space? Where was the recognition of the transformative work with Black youth and families and community, the artistic brilliance of the adult and children's companies, the connections between past, present, and future? Sankofa. It's a human story, beautiful, messy, complex, like all art, like all lives.
Hello, very briefly into my life when I was in my mid-20s. Thanks to my parents, I had a foundational understanding of traditional West African culture. I'm an artist, I'm a painter, studied at Morgan State University, Howard University. But in the mid-90s, I was introduced to Sankofa African Dance Company, dance and theater. And it has had a lasting impact on my aesthetic as an artist, on my ability to be a good father, son, brother, uncle, husband. I am forever in debt indebted to Sankofa African Dance Theater, that is, because it gave me an opportunity to explore, research, travel to the continent, and recognize the fullness of my humanity, just as a black man, but as an African born and raised living here in the United States. So I would like to thank Mama Kibibi, Baba Karuna Mujamal, and all those that taught them so that they could teach me largely what it means to be an African born and raised here in the United States. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brenda Beasley. Every year prior to the pandemic, Sankofa Dance Theater came to Camp Success to teach dance and share African traditions with our young people. What a wonderful experience was had by all who were in attendance. Their dedication to the children and their dedication to give back is phenomenal. Congratulations, Sankofa. Continue to do your mission.
Greetings to everyone. This is Jelly Amadou Kuyate, and I am happy to wish Sankofa Theater a blessed and heartfelt 30th anniversary. Sankofa has always been an extended family of mine. Since I was young, the Sankofa Dance Theater has collaborated with my family's company based in Washington, D.C., Memory of African Culture. They've also been a hallmark in education and outreach in the greater Baltimore community and really the world. Um, I moved to Baltimore many years ago and was able to find, family within, the Sankofa village, and those relationships are cherished to this day. I appreciate the work that you've done for the community. Um, it is absolutely amazing, just the body of work that you've been able to accomplish, and just the relationships that you've built here in Baltimore and throughout the world. I hope that the next 30 years is even more prolific and prosperous for you all. And I can't wait to the next time I get to be in the presence of those who are connected to Sankofa. I'm looking forward to not just the drumming and the dancing, but the fellowship and the family. And kudos to Sankofa for being the community institution that it is. They are absolutely a necessity for the process of African cultural reclamation here in the United States, and they're an example to the world of what it looks like to be completely dedicated to the process of embracing culture, embracing the spirit in which we activate our relationship, to our ancestors and to our deities. So again, thank you very much for the work that you do, and I'm looking forward, to the next 30 years. Kudos to you all. Peace.
Hey, my name is Lena, and I dance with Sankofa starting in the primary class through to the children's company and then the teens company. So, starting, I want to say around 93, 94 until 2007. And it's hard to pinpoint any one specific memory because Sankofa was such a huge part of my life growing up. But I just remember, you know, performing at such a young age at the Baltimore Museum of Art. I remember getting to perform at Shriver, at Hopkins, and I remember the sense of community that was around me throughout my entire childhood, and how much it meant to me to get to learn so much about dance and drum and culture at a time where I didn't realize why that was so important. But even now, just reflecting for this video, realizing how important that foundation was, and just being so grateful for Mama Kibibi, to Mama Kibibi, to the whole Ajanku family, the whole Sankofa family, for all of the things that I learned, and all of the things that we were exposed to. Being so young, having those performances, having had an opportunity to travel sometimes to perform, Having gone to Disney World and done that show, I think that one was called Magic Music Days. That was awesome. But also just, learning about things like discipline and hard work and how much time we put in, even being young children, to make sure that we were grasping all of the concepts, grasping all of the choreo, learning the rhythms, being respectful of the rhythms, and incorporating all of that into performance. Um, it was just something that I will always cherish, and even being younger and getting to look up to the adult company at that time, and seeing all of those phenomenal performances, and wishing that I could grow up and be one of them. It's just amazing to see how many folks that Sankofa has touched. It's amazing to see how influential getting to be a part of Sankofa has been in my life, and just so excited to see this exhibit come together and to hear all of the stories, and grateful to be a part of it.
I'm Kenya Ray, and my Sankofa story is so long, and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget things, so I wrote a script. Sankofa helped to raise me. Well, the company and I actually watched each other grow. I was a Sankofa Dance Theater member in the beginning, through some stages of transition, all the way to the legacy that the company is known today. I was about 11 years old when my parents met Mama Kibibi in an AME church. My parents were already raising me to be very much Black and proud in our home, so it was a natural fit for us to join this West African dance company that Mama Kibibi had created for her 4 children. Mama Kibibi herself was a trained dancer, so she not only taught us about the importance of dance and drum symbiosis, she also taught us how to express our bodies in a disciplined way. So we used to call some of our rehearsals Mama Kibibi's boot camp. Picture Debbie Allen in Fame, but without the cane. Instead, Mama Kibibi snapped her fingers, she sang rhythms, she gave several and we had to do movements and choreographies over and over and over again until our backs were straight, our knees were high, our hands and arms were placed, even our fingers, just so. As we expanded our West African dance knowledge with Mama Kibibi and our other founding member, Baba Kauna, we went from performing at our annual Sankofa recitals during my elementary and middle school years to being paid performers by the time we got to high school. We were gracing stages all over the DMV, nationally. In fact, my second ever plane ride was traveling with Sankofa for performances. The company connected us with several other dance and drum companies and performers nationally, and for some members internationally. The college tours were my favorite. I was fortunate to have experienced what I dawn as the golden years of Sankofa. During this time, dance and drum classes were packed for children, teens, and adults. The performances, standing room only. You couldn't go to a Black History Month, a Kwanzaa celebration in this area and not have some component of Sankofa Dance Theater dancers and or drummers to be part of it. Many of us who had once been students were now teaching classes. I personally use Mama Kibibi's unique style because she can break down a movement like no one I have ever seen. What was once a mom gathering rehearsals in her backyard, Mama Kibibi established that into a full business, into a company that flourished to the point where when we graduated high school, we were given money, scholarship monies towards college. I did take a break when I went to college from Sankofa for a couple of years, and I came back after the birth of my first child. So yes, Sankofa helped raise my babies too. I actually performed Big Belly Pregnant with my son for a harvest concert. And so it probably sounds strange for me to credit a dance company in my personal rearing, but that's absolutely what happened for me. In fact, what I found the most valuable about my Sankofa experience, it actually didn't happen in a class or on a stage. It was the life lessons that I learned. The people that came through Sankofa's doors were literally from all walks of life. So we were exposed to several different religions, family lifestyles, career paths, you name it. We were taught to respect everyone, that child with the African name, that mama with the vegan diet, that family with plural marriages. We were already taught to be accepting, to call out offensive behaviors and transgressions long before there was a cancel culture. Sankofa was my version of a school because it taught us about Black heroes, Black history, sewing and crafting, diet and exercise. Sankofa was my rites of passage, teaching me necessities to transition into my womanhood. Sankofa was a social club every year, hosted annual roller skating events when we were teenagers, all sorts of things to keep us engaged and involved. Sankofa was like a sorority of sorts for me because it built my foundation for my sisterhood of relationships. Sankofa gave me my village, my family, my extended family. This is a true story. It was Mama Kibibi who got me to eat fruits and vegetables. Not that my parents didn't want me to, not that I didn't have access to it, but I refused to eat fruits and vegetables until way too many times of Mama Kibibi making me sit at that table and not get up until I finished my fruits and vegetables. I eat them now, so I credit that to her. I spent so much time at Mama Kibibi's house that she started calling me her bonus daughter, and she became my godmother. The majority of my age mates that came through Sankofa, they're like my sisters, my brothers, and my cousins now. We are aunties and uncles to each other's children. The elders in the community and the company I endearingly refer to as my auntie mamas and my uncle babas. All of us call Mama Kibibi's mother Grandma Susan. She's definitely our community grandma. It is because of Sankofa that I have friendships that have literally lasted for decades. Now, it's no way possible. I'm about to be 45 years old, starting when I was age 11. There's no way I can finish my Sankofa story here. So I'll just say thank you. Thank you, Mama Kibibi. Thank you, Sankofa. And congratulations on 30 years and the legacy that you've left behind.
Hello, my name is Ebony Yehuda. I was involved with Sankofa Dance Theater from about 1992 to 2002. I had the privilege of performing with the team company, and anybody that remembers me remembers probably that I was around the theater as much as I could be. I remember many of my teachers taking me home after class because I wanted to stay from the first class into the last class. And I remember being at Dickeyville, and I think the first class might have been a Tai Chi class, and then the next class was drum tech. And there were a few classes before my actual class, which was at the time, I believe it was probably the children's class, and then eventually the team company class. But I wanted to be in all of them. So, with permission, I was able to take drum tech, and I was able to warm up classes for Mama Kabibi. And then I participated in my class, and then I stayed for the adult class until I was allowed to participate. And then I asked if I could stay for adult rehearsal, and then eventually I was able to do that too. That's one of my fondest memories, is just what Sankofa was for me on the weekends, what it became for me as I developed friendships and as I was able to travel and perform. I did not have the awesome privilege of being able to travel out of the country with Sankofa, but I did go to Disney World, and we performed at the Epcot Center. And that was a great experience in general, just being able to be with my friends and go to such a sought after amusement park, and then to have the privilege of performing at the Epcot Center. That was amazing. I think in that year, that was before the Magic, the Animal Kingdom opened up, and so the Rainforest Cafe was the first thing that opened up as part of the attraction, and so we were able to have dinner there, and that was like one of like probably everybody's first experience at the Rainforest Cafe. Um, I traveled, didn't travel, but I followed Sankofa to the many different locations that they had around the city. I think that another memory I have is all of the different areas that I was introduced to by them because I resided in the county, and and I remember Falls Road, and I remember Morton Street, and then all the way eventually until they acquired the building on Druid Park Drive. And so I have fond memories there also. I didn't get to see all the performances that were had there, but I definitely was able to kind of celebrate along with the collective in achieving that goal. So always great memories that I have in my mind for Sankofa. And I'm honored to have the privilege to be able to share my memories with you all. Blessings.
This is Jahiti. This is Jahiti telling his Sankofa story. So, don't really recall how I officially met them. Oh, no, I do know that. It was through a friend of mine. It's how woman I was dating at the time. Um, and then, but then speed up, fast forward, able to share the stage with the brothers, performing in different places throughout the country has been an exciting experience, and also having shared ownership of a dog is another serious bond. You know what I mean? So could tell a bunch of stories because I've really just fondled the whole entire family, and they're really special to me. So give thanks. Yeah.
Greetings. My name is Tyree Thornton. And yes, I am a Sankofa member from back in the day. Oh my gosh. Sankofa was my village. It helped me to raise my children. It helped me to gain self confidence and the love of the culture. Sankofa Dane, I have my Sankofa paraphernalia. Still to my heart, I still love and remember the lessons and the happy days and the cold days and the performances that Sankofa Dance Theater that we all participated in. We've gained friendships, loves. Um, it was just for me, Sankofa was a part of my life that I'll never forget. And I carry Sankofa in my heart to this day. And I still have all my pictures of my sisters from back in the day. I have friendships that I still cherish to this day. Sankofa Dance Theater. I remember going to performances. I kept a lot of stuff back in the day. Dance Africa, 1996 with Baba Chuck Davis. All these things I still have in my house, in my books for people to see and remember that I was a part of so that I could talk to them about it. But Sankofa Dance Theater was a part of my life and it gave me the courage to be who I am today. I'm proud of you, Kibibi, for continuing the legacy and continuing to share this love and let everybody know what Sankofa Dance Theater is and was like and possibly will continue to be. And I'm so proud of you, all my Sankofa family members. What's up? I'm down here in Atlanta, Georgia, still continuing the legacy with my children. Munir Richard is still performing with Erica Badu. Rashida Richard is still dancing and performing with Dawn Axum here. And Rashid he went the other way with his life. He's a animal lover, so he's working with animals. But Sankofa helped build the foundation for me and the foundation for the culture for my children. So I thank you, Kibibi. I thank you, Kauna, Ajanku, and Kibibi. You guys were my family. You were my big brother, my big sister. And I had a whole family of love with you guys. And I really appreciate you. Thank you. And when you in Georgia, come on down and visit. Much love and peace.
Hello, my name is Larry Poncho Brown, and I'm honored to congratulate Sankofa Dance Theater for 35 years in history making here in Baltimore. You know, Baltimore has a wealth of talent. Recognize our talent like we should. Kibibi Ajanku and Sankofa has left a definite legacy of dance and drumming in Baltimore City. If you have never been to a Sankofa show, shame on you. It means that you're not connected to your community. They have been here steadfast in the community. I've been fortunate enough to have worked with them on several occasions to help birth ideas and to lend my creative hand to whatever they envision. So to see them reach a celebratory point of 35 years is it's a joy. It's a joy because, you know, home in your hometown should always rally for their talent. Your hometown's supposed to rally for you if you're in this jurisdiction. And I like to think that Sankofa has reached the pinnacle of their success, and it's a testimony to how deep in the community they have been for the past 35 years. To see 2 and 3 generations of the Ajanku clan continue this journey is also a heartwarming thing to see. You're talking about generations of culture that's going to be manifested within that one family, and the additional families they were able to create along the way. So I just want to say thank you so much, Sankofa Dance Theater, for what you represent. On behalf of being from Baltimore, I congratulate you as a Baltimore native, because I know personally, if you were in New York, if you were in DC, if you were in some of these other cities, they would embrace you more than you're probably embraced here in Baltimore. But let it be known that Sankofa Dance Theater is part of Baltimore family, it's part of the Baltimore fiber. And so may you continue to, just continue to cast that light, because we all need it in times like these. Mama Kibibi, congratulations, Sankofa Dance Theater, for 30 more years.